Reagan Robertson here with Productive Dentist Academy. Get ready to join your favorite podcast hosts, Dr. Bruce B. Baird, Victoria Peterson, Dr. Chad Johnson, and myself, Reagan Robertson, at the nation's #1 dental business course that guarantees practice growth. That's right, full immersion CE, so you can consistently produce more and align your team for results without compromising excellent patient care. Registration is now open. The tuition cost is $2,195, which is ridiculous because it's regularly $5,528. Hop on over right now to www.productivedentist.com/workshop to grab your registration today. Again, that is www.productivedentist.com/workshop. If you cannot wait and you have to have it right now, email Brent, B-R-E-N-T, at productivedentist.com. That's Brent, B-R-E-N-T, at productivedentist.com, and we will save you a seat. I look forward to seeing you there.
Welcome to Investment Grade Practices Podcast, where we believe private practice dentists deserve to get the lifestyle today while building an asset for tomorrow. Join your host, Victoria Peterson, to design the practice of your dreams and secure your financial independence. Let's get started.
Have you ever felt like you were in the drama as the stock market turns? Today, I have a very special guest for you. His name is Matt Mulcock. He is a certified financial planner. He is senior advisor and director of financial services with Dentist Advisors, and also the co-host of the Dentist Money Show, one of the most popular podcasts in dentistry. Matt, thank you for being here today.
Oh, Victoria, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. We've talked about this on and off a little bit over the last few months, and so it's fun to actually be here and be talking to you today.
Oh, I love it. And for all of you listening, Matt and I, we always take a few minutes with all my guests and just kind of prep and what are we really going to hone into. And in the middle of it, just said, we have got to hit the start button because this is absolute gold. So I want to rewind a little bit, Matt, and talk about your viewpoint about, because I said your topics as financial planners kind of move on a daily, monthly, yearly basis with where the stock market goes, because that's what people think about when they think about financial planning. But you had a very different answer to that question about what dentists should be focusing on right now.
Yeah, definitely. So as we were discussing, the thing that came to my mind that this is kind of always there, right? What I call just distraction, and the level of distraction will kind of move, ebb and flow for sure, depending on where we're at with the market and obviously individual dentist life, but it is pervasive. It is always there. And that's something we as advisors to our clients are always trying to kind of get a handle on, which is, again, their level of distraction. And what we're meaning, they're, thinking they're bouncing from one thing to the next.
So is this like I call you on a Monday and say, Bitcoin's really cool. Yeah. And then you go down that path to put some things in Bitcoin. And I call you on Friday and go, no, it crashed. I think just a crypto general account, or wait a minute, maybe I don't even need to be in crypto. That's scary. I heard that going into pharmaceuticals are better. Or how about oil and gas? Because is that the kind of distraction? Like I'm just reactive to what's going on?
Absolutely. And I'll even take it. This coincides exactly with what you guys do so incredibly well, which is talk about and, help your clients and audience build an investment grade practice. It's like, how about we start there, right? Like there's so many times we talk to our clients of is your practice where you even want it to be right now? Like, why are you talking about this storage facility investment that your buddy has? Why would you put $20,000 in that storage facility when you don't even have your practice?
Some marketing.
Yeah. Go take that 20,000 and hire a consultant or do some marketing or hire a new staff member to help with some type of system you're trying to put in place. I think that is, and what I was saying to you, which what we're seeing more and more now, because of the noise that's happening in the market, and the media it's always there, but it's gotten worse right now because they kind of tend to pile on, meaning the media. And
you know what, you're an inside person, so I want to ask this. I have an unsubstantiated theory, and my theory is that hype and confusion are good for business, and big
Absolutely.
business owns the media. And
Yes.
whatever is on front page news is designed to keep you on an emotional roller coaster. And the last thing anybody in the news business wants you to see is what's happening on page 16.
Absolutely.
It's the stuff that's happening corporately and governmentally and politically so deep behind the scenes. We don't get to it because Facebook's now tracking us and throwing us, pictures of garden hoses or whatever we talked about that day,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So
I'm going to get garden hoses on my next ad now. You know that, right? Like it's coming. Yeah.
We both are.
Yeah.
I just put my phone on airplane mode so I wouldn't
Yes.
get garden
Yeah.
hoses.
Good call.
But is that what you're talking about? Like the media and Wall Street almost, that's my theory, is like they almost work hand in hand to create the emotional response that they want in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't even think, someone might call that like a cynical hot take, but I actually don't think so. Like the media, especially financial media, is not there to inform you. It is there to keep your attention. Like they're running that's what I always tell people is look at the incentives of these media groups. What are they incentivized to do? It's to keep your attention, and fear and not, the truth is that they're not going to keep.
Doesn't sell.
The good news doesn't sell, especially long-term good news. Like imagine this, Victoria. Imagine you turn on the news and they're sitting there saying, okay, people, well, today is better than yesterday, which was better than 10 years ago, which was better than 100 years ago, and pretty much every aspect of life. Have a great day. Like there's no way no one's ever going to watch that. It's boring, but that is the truth. But they're trying to keep your attention. That's where the money is. And so their incentives are not aligned with yours. So I always tell people, you want to improve your investment results over the next 30 years, turn off the news. And I guarantee you will have better results with investing.
You know what? This is really dating me. When I was pregnant with my second child, I was on 3.5 months of bed rest. And this is pre-internet. And I thought, what am I going to do? I don't knit booties, I'm not that. And so I did a mail order course because there was no internet. There was no online classes. And so I went to the University of Denver and got a class. I was actually studying to be a CFP. Okay. And taking my Series E test, I'm like, I don't want to manage it. That's when I really learned, like in the early 90s, like you have really got to tune in to your own life and the macroeconomics of your life, your micro, what's local here, what moves me forward. So I love that you said, let's start with your number one investment, which is not your home, your personal home. It's your business. That's why you have a small business. So one of the other things you brought up, and I want you to go into more, was consistency. How does consistency create success?
Yeah, there's a great quote, one of my favorite quotes by James Clear. He wrote Atomic Habits, and he's an incredible blogger. I highly recommend checking out his blog or his newsletter. But his quote is 90% of success is doing the obvious thing for an uncommon amount of time. And I think, so I think about that type of mindset or quote, or that quote and the mindset that comes with it all the time in my own personal life in helping clients. So I look at this, like the word there that sticks out to me is obvious and simple. People hear that and they think that means easy, and it does not mean easy, but that's why consistency is so difficult. Most people know the things that you should be doing, right? Most dentists know, at least in general, like the things that they should be focused on. And if they don't, like a group like yours or, people out there can kind of help them identify those things. That's not really the hard part. I don't think it's identifying those things. The hard part is consistently doing those things over and over and over again and not getting distracted when you don't see it working after a month or 6 months or even a year. Consistency is about, we always tell people consistency is a superpower. You don't see results in even your investment returns. Like the compounding of investment returns all happen in the last third. Like if you look at a compounding like calculator and you look at the results, the real power is in that last third. The first 2/3 is brutal because you feel like you're not making progress, even though you are. And it's the same thing with your practice. It's really, really easy to get distracted. And that's why I'm saying we see this a lot more now with the distraction, because of the market has been down the first, 7 months of the year. So people are like, oh, this isn't working, I'm going to do something else. It's really difficult.
Boy, oh boy, I couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. That is so powerful. Consistency is a superpower, and compounding interest is it really takes off in that final 1/3. You sometimes hear that being called the hockey stick. And yep. I had a great mentor, and I was so like, I actually wrote a whole book on it. I researched the term frustration because the emotion of frustration and what it really meant. Because when I'm frustrated, I get excited. Most people shut down and go into disappointment. Like you were saying, I'm kind of frustrated with the market right now. I think I'll pull out, yep. And they get these all or nothing emotions. For me, when I'm at a point of frustration, that's where I stop and I get curious and I look at the opportunity, because typically when I'm frustrated, it's when I think something should have happened by now and it hasn't. Yes. I think I crossed the finish line, but I'm 10 yards away. So how do I refortify, focus, get curious, what's missing, what needs to be added, so that I just push through to that? Frustration always comes right before the hockey stick moment of success.
Absolutely.
Always.
It really does. And I love that. It's again, another quote. I'm, if you don't know me, know this by now, Victoria, I love quotes, because I think it's because my brain, I'm not smart enough. I take people that are smarter than me and I can like regurgitate their stuff. But to paraphrase my favorite financial writer is Morgan Housel. He's phenomenal. I highly recommend everyone check him out. He wrote a book called The Psychology of Money. It's like the #1 finance book in the world right now. But to paraphrase something he says is like, the biggest financial mistakes that people make, and I'd say the biggest mistakes in life, are exactly what you're talking about, which is they all come from saying, I want that, but I want it faster. Mm-hmm. And then you start to make really bad mistakes. So take building wealth, for example, or investing. It's, I want X amount of dollars, or I want this end result, but I just want it faster than what it's coming. They get frustrated. They start to bounce from one thing to the next. You start to get into crypto, or you start to jump into this or whatever. And the most important part of any investment strategy is having one you can stick with. But if you're not allowing that compound to grow, because again, you're trying to fast forward results, that's where you start to make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, man, oh man, I've got to have you back again, because we could talk like an hour and a half.
Yes.
How do you tell the difference between cost and value? You know,
and definitely.
My son was looking for a cheap car, and he got it was not a good value.
He got a cheap car. Yeah.
He got a cheap car, and it broke down on the way to the driveway home. It is such a pleasure. These are very short, bite-sized podcasts, but just the things that you brought out about distraction and how to cut through the noise, being, have a plan that you can stick with long-term, look for creating consistency within your business and your practice. I always say there's 3 stages to growing a dental practice. There's viability. Oh my God, I can pay my bills. This feels good. And I'm getting a paycheck. Then you get into predictability. Now my stress levels coming down, and I can actually take a vacation or more vacation, and things don't fall apart. But then there's that third piece, and it's the final third, is durability. If I walked away tomorrow, or I wanted to do something different, would this business carry on, without me? And that, I think, is true freedom in business ownership. A lot of dentists have very predictable practices, and they're cash flowing really well, but they're not yet that third level of durable business. And maybe you saw this too. I saw quite a few doctors that reached out to us during or after the pandemic and said, man, 2018, 2019, I had a great practice. Life was good, but now I'm down like 200 grand and it's not coming back. Yep. And that was all the difference. And now I'm 5 years out and I need to retire, and I'm playing catch up. Exactly. And so predictability can create complacency.
Absolutely.
And you just can't stop there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think something like COVID, I mean, obviously I need to be sensitive with this, but just from a dentist business perspective, something like that, I think, has created an opportunity to to your point, go back and realize, man, that we did not, and no one saw this coming, right?
Right.
And it now has created some urgency to create that durability, and maybe kind of woke some people up a little bit as far as saying, oh man, I need to actually maybe rethink this to create more longevity and durability in my business.
I love it. Matt, we're going to see you in September at our launch of the IGP Summit. We've got a carefully curated group of doctors there taking their investment grade practice to the next level. Thank you so much for being on our faculty and being a guest speaker during that summit.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having me.
I love it. How can people hook up with you and get to know more about the Dentist Money Show?
Yeah, so a couple of different places. We now are at a place, we've really made it, Victoria. We have 2 websites. So that's when you know you've made it. We have dentistadvisors.com and then the dentistmoney.com. So you can go to either one, kind of get you to the same place. And so we just released a new model that you can find again at dentistmoney.com, meaning a new service model and a different way for people to engage with us. We're really excited about. So you can go to either one of those, check us out. You can check out the Dentist Money Show, pretty much anywhere podcasts are produced at, or, put out there.
Well, I wholeheartedly endorse you. I've been a client of yours and worked with you for more than 6 years now. What I love is that you practice what you preach, particularly in this area of consistency. Like your whole team is like the calm. Like yeah. I'm like, and you're like, no, just stay calm. We're going to get through it. Hey, also, if you've got any questions about Productive Dentist Academy workshops or the IGP Summit, reach out to Brent at productivedentist.com. He can give you more information. Matt, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thanks, Victoria. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Investment Grade Practices Podcast. If you find value in this episode, help us spread the word by passing it along to a dental friend, subscribe, and give us a like on iTunes or Spotify. Learn more about building your investment grade practice at productivedentist.com today.